folks. How's it going? Welcome to Dojo Talks. Today we are going to be ranking our favorite board slash card games apart from chess. So we're gonna fight about it a lot today. Maybe it's gonna be more bitter than normal, but we're gonna each give our objective 10 favorite games, and then we'll see which games we all kind of mention, and then average them up and see which are objectively our favorites. You guys ready?
Yeah, we have not collaborated on this. We have not collaborated. That's right.
That's true.
And,
Yeah. The only thing
and,
we. Mhm.
and I want to just stress too, these are our favorite games. This is not necessarily what we think are the best games. These are just our personal favorite games. Right.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Everyone has their own opinions, and they're going to attack us for ours, and that's fine. That's what this is all about, right? We give our opinions, and then people give their own correct opinions after that.
Let me just say, I mean, in general, what I like about a game is if it's a really great game. So, like, my favorite games will be like the best games.
Right, right.
It's kind of an overlap for me.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can't say the same for mine. My picks are all based on just like fun and what games I want to play. Because yeah, actually it's always kind of weird going to a board game night or playing board games like with your friends. It's like I play a board game like for a living. Like chess is my life.
Yeah.
Imagine like studying Monopoly full time and then going playing. All right. Anyway, so well, let's get into it. I can give you guys my no. Let's start with Jesse. Jesse, let's have your number 10.
And you want, I guess I could write it in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My number 10, a little bit surprising, is Connect 4, baby. Connect 4. And I just want to say about Connect 4, the reason I like it is actually all the games here, it's because there's no dice involved. And it's basically like the difficulty level. Once you realize it, a lot of people don't realize it. They just throw in their pieces down. But once you realize it, it's the difficulty of a pawn endgame, because there's Zugzwang, there's heavy Zugzwang involved in Connect 4, and there's a lot of counting and a lot of trickery. So anyway, that's my number 10.
Yeah. Did you see that clip of Danny beating Fabi in Connect 4?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. No, Fabi literally like fell for like an opening trick. He lost in like 4 moves. So they got crossed. Yeah, he got confused or something. Yeah, that's a good one.
Normally when like a strong chess player brings their brain to some kind of parlor game, so to speak, like they're pretty good at it. I mean, they're rarely getting mated in 4 moves.
Yeah. Dang, that's a good one. David, you want to give us your number 10?
Sure. I'm gonna go with I think Jesse's is a great choice also. I like that Jesse Connect 4, but my number 10 is Boggle.
Okay. Yeah.
And
wait, I forgot how Boggle works. Can you explain it?
There may be other games of this type, but basically it's I do like games with like letters and words, and Boggle is a game where basically like the letters are on dice and you sort of like shuffle them up. They're in a grid, and then you try to make words out of that grid as your time ticks down. So that's like the oldest version of one of those, and I think it's like a perfectly good one.
Nice. Great. You want to add it in?
Okay.
I think I played that once. That was fun. Cool.
All right, Kostya, what do you got, buddy?
Okay, my number 10 game. Let me double check with my list. Yeah, so this is a game. It's like I've played it a lot. It's more of a like kind of like an honorary mention. I've played it a lot, and like I would almost never say no to playing it, but I would also probably never suggest it. And for me, that's Scrabble.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Similar level for me as Boggle.
Yeah, similar type. I'm sure a lot of people have one right on top of the other.
Yeah.
in their list. Okay, hopefully nothing too controversial so far. So Jesse, let's have your number 9.
Okay, and then we're gonna mix it up the order. So
Actually, I want to ask Jesse one thing. Jesse,
Yeah.
if you had to choose between Boggle and Scrabble one day, which one would you choose?
Well, Scrabble's on my list, so I got to do Scrabble. But
All
I'm
right.
not. I think what's interesting about Scrabble, I might even say some more about it. I'll say about it now. It's on my list a little later. Is what it has similar with the similarity to chess with Scrabble is it has a culture like chess does. It's not as big of there hasn't been a Scrabble boom, but there are tournaments, and there are people who are really into it. People who are savants. There's, I think, some kind of rating system. They use chess clocks, and kind of like in the same way you have opening theory in the chess world. These monsters are memorizing dumb little words that nobody knows what they are. So and there's a strategic element. There's definitely strategic elements to Scrabble, trying to be prophylactic about not giving somebody a triple word score or whatever it is. So I think, I think that's why Scrabble would definitely be above Boggle, but I have just less experience with Boggle too. Okay, so my number 9, people aren't going to like this. This is fun. I like to do this with kids, especially if it's oversized, and that's Jenga.
Jenga.
Yeah, Jenga's cool. It's a cool party game.
Dude, Jesse, we're not playing Twister here. These are supposed to be real games.
That's a real game. Jenga's a real game. You can lose a Jenga, buddy. You can lose a Jenga. Jenga's a real thing.
Yeah, I guess there's some strategy. There is supposed to be some strategy, I think, in these games, but there's some strategy in Jenga.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Jenga's a real thing.
You want to go for like the looser pieces and not the ones that are like harder to get out.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind with these opening principles.
I like poking with my pinky and just seeing like testing the foundation.
Tactics.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. I'm fine with that choice. That's a good game. I like big Jenga. It's fun. Sometimes they have that. All right, David.
All right, we'll keep with the order.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My next game is not very deep, but it's a fun one. Kind of simple. You can play it with kids, and I have to play with kids, so this one is nice because it's kind of like the first game my kids could play that has a tiny bit of interest to it, and it's Splendor. I don't know if you guys know it.
Oh,
I never played it.
Yeah.
It's a game where you collect jewels, basically.
Okay. So, I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, I need a game to play with kids. Sure.
That's right. You could use it, Jesse. Yeah.
All right, Kostya, what do you got, buddy?
Okay. My number 9 game is Secret Hitler.
Secret Hitler. I'm writing all these games down that I haven't heard of before. Okay, Secret Hitler.
It's essentially, you guys might have played it. It's very similar to like Mafia.
Oh, Mafia.
Or like Among Us. It's this kind of game. There's like a group of people. There's a secret Hitler, and I think there's like secret Nazis and just like regular civilians.
Okay, I'm actually gonna do it. You guys might tell me I'm not allowed to do take backs, but I'm gonna take Jenga back because I forgot about Mafia, dude. Mafia's a great game. I'm putting Mafia down there, buddy, for number 9. What a great game.
That's fine. Yeah, I was I'm trying to like remember a game, but I don't remember the name of it. We'll see if I get to it. But yeah. So right, this one is a little bit, there's like a wrinkle on it, and the way the game works is like every round there's like 2 people and they kind of like vote on a new policy, and it's either a liberal policy or a fascist policy.
Okay.
And if they enact a fascist policy, the thing is like you basically have to choose from like 1 or 2 cards that you're or 2 cards that you're dealt. So you can lie and say like, oh, I had to pick a fascist policy because that was the only thing that was available to me. And so then people try to suss out like, all right, who's actually a fascist or who's liberal. That's just how the game is constructed. People shouldn't be mad at me over the political. That's just trying to explain how the game works.
Right. But if all the games you play are reenactments of a fascist regime, then people will conclude that you picked your games at some point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like when it goes around to your turn, if you keep enacting like fascist policies every time, yeah, yeah, people will notice, and then so yeah, and then it's like Mafia where you gotta like be deceitful and stuff. So yeah, super fun. I honestly don't love these games because I feel like they can get really intense, and but you know they're fun. They're fun. So it's on my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah. Definitely not my favorite genre of game. Um, but the one that I've played in this genre a little bit more is called Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably a bit like Secret Hitler in that you're sort of you're doing something as well, and then trying to suss out who's helping you or who's undermining you as you sort of in that game it's like you're doing missions and quests, right? And in yours it's like you're enacting policies. It sounds like a cool wrinkle. Yours actually sounds a little bit better than what I've played.
Cool.
Cool, cool.
All right, David, you go first this time, buddy.
All right. Number 8. It's a strategy game. It's a clean classic strategy game. Bridge.
I never
No.
okay. So actually, this is a good point where I want to talk about the nature of at least my list is. I'm sure Bridge is a great game, like Go or other things, but I didn't put anything on the list that I didn't understand. I didn't have any emotional connection to or no experience with. And Bridge would be one of those ones where I'm sure it's a great game, but man, is that complicated to learn. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Anyways,
I don't think the barrier is as hard as you may think it is. Have you tried?
I tried a little bit, and then my eyes rolled over pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you spent some good time playing this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fun. I mean, it's a good strategy game.
Yeah, I never played it, so I don't have a lot
Strategy game.
to say about it. But I can.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I've
can
had
imagine
fun in
that.
general. There's a whole bunch of card games like that, right? That have some version of, trump cards and trying to take tricks and stuff like that, right? Like, I know the German ones because that's what my dad taught me growing up. So I played
Right.
Scott and
Scott.
Doppelkopf. I don't know if Jesse
Uh-huh.
is.
I got
Met
turned
either
on
of
to
those.
Scott back in the day. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Germany.
So those are good games too, similar
Yeah.
to Bridge. And then like in the US, there's Spades and maybe
Mhm.
Hearts are sort of similar but easier versions. And I would say like if you learn how to play Hearts or Spades, it's a pretty small step from there onto Bridge.
Cool.
All right, so what do you got, man?
Okay. Um, my number 8. I might end up changing one of these at some point. Um, well, maybe I'll change.
We could have a rearranging period at the end, guys, where if
Yeah,
like
yeah, we
somebody
can
else
always.
brought up a game you really like, or they
Right,
convince you
right,
that your
right.
game is actually terrible, I know
Okay.
Jesse's going to slip one terrible game in here, and we're going to have words. If you can convince someone else, they can move it. So we can have a rearrangement period, so you don't have to stress too hard about
Yeah, yeah.
your starting order.
I appreciate that. Okay, I'm good. I realized my other game wasn't even much of a strategy game anyway, more of a party game. For number 8, I'm gonna go with Blockus. I don't know if you
Okay.
guys have
Hmm.
played this one, but yeah, it's kind of fun. I actually haven't played in a while, but I remember really liking it. It's like, how would I explain it? It's like Tetris, but you're playing against like other people. So you're
Hmm.
like kind of building blocks on the board and you're trying to take space, and maybe somewhat similar to Go, except it's like a four player game. But anyway, lots of fun.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know that one either. All right, number 8, we kind of already talked about a little bit, and that is Scrabble. Yeah. I think, and I would say if there's one thing about Scrabble that I don't like, it's that you end up arguing about is a word, and somebody gets upset, and it's just like, But other than that, it can be a very fun game, especially if you get a group.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah. I think both those games are fun, by the way, Scrabble and Blockus. I'll just say that without saying anything more. Those are both games that I would enjoy playing.
Nice, nice.
All right. I'll take us on to level 7. And at
Nice.
7, we've got a game which I think is going to be fairly popular. I saw it mentioned a few times in the Twitter thread.
Mhm.
And this type of game is called a deck builder. For anyone who hasn't ever tried it, the game is Dominion.
What does that mean, deck builder? Does that mean you have to
it's like a
collect
step
cards?
back from games like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or something where you've got like a deck of cards and you like use your cards to battle somebody. In Dominion, and there are some other games like this, in Dominion, you're sort of building your deck at first, right? So you're selecting cards to put them into your deck and creating a deck that then sort of, cycles around and does things.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you, David, right when I left California, you and your brother came up with a card game that you guys had you guys put a lot of energy into. First, you created, it was a deck building game. Then you guys did some marketing and you put it out there and you had some, where did that thing go, man?
It's in my crawl space.
We gotta put it to your crawl space.
Yeah, that's where it ended up. I got boxes of it in my crawl space, and it's like a subject of my partner being like, "Can we throw this out? Make some more space for some crap of mine to like stuff in there." So that's where it ended up. But it was a decent. It is a decent game.
Yeah. It's you gotta think like most of these, for every game that makes it, thousands don't make it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, just like in all kinds of industries, right? There are probably some great musicians that basically only 20 people have heard, and those 20 people are wondering like, how did this never make it? And the people had to give up on their music careers, and there's probably there's probably tons of games that are much better. Just like there are some games out there that are super popular that aren't necessarily that amazing, right? So and some singers out there who aren't that great.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go next.
That works. Mm-hmm.
And we got for number 7, I got Risk.
Cool.
In some ways, I have some negatives to Risk, especially it takes kind of long and it's hard to set up. But what I enjoy about Risk and a couple other games I have on my list is it very different from chess and social in this way, where you have to gauge what you think the intentions of other people are, right? That's what the game is ultimately about. Obviously, there's your own strategy, but gauging what you think other people are going to do, central, absolutely central. So what you do, a certain part of chess too is just gauging where your opponent is, but then it's more like along the lines of logical thinking. But whereas Risk and a lot of these other games is like, wait a second, my opponents are illogical human beings. I have to gauge what they are going to do. Anyways, that's why Risk is on my list.
Mm-hmm. Risk, too much dice. There's 2 fatal flaws to Risk. One is too much dice.
Yeah. And
the second is it's this kind of like multiplayer game where basically if anyone gets ahead, the other people can gang up on them. And I don't like these like multi-way games where the person in 3rd place or 4th place or 5th place can sort of be a kingmaker. Mm-hmm. No, it's very hard to design a game that's like got more than 2 people that's competitive and that's not teams. And in general, I think it's always a fail. And I don't like Risk, despite obviously what people don't know is Jesse and I had like a Risk phase where we were playing Risk on a website, and we were in the GM house together, and I could hear Jesse screaming when somebody took his continents from him, when they rolled through him with their people. You'd hear him cussing and screaming, and he'd be like, "Bruce, what did you make me do? I just spent 3 hours losing at Risk, dude." So we had a phase, and I got pretty high rated at Risk, so I've got pretty good Risk knowledge, but I think it's a pretty bad game.
All right.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Risk would be better if instead of the final portion when someone gets to roll like 40 times and the other player gets to roll like 25 times, just like adjudicate it. If it's 40 versus 25, they win. The 40 wins. It's just like the agony of just like rolling through like all like the final stuff. Just like
yeah.
So yeah,
online at least the rolling is super fast. So that's like one advantage to doing it on a computer is just tells you the result. It can roll 60 dice in 1 second.
Right.
it goes faster, but I mean, there's still luck, you know. Sometimes you're like ready to clean somebody up and you attack with 70 people and they've got 8, and then it's like, oh, you're down to 0. You just lose.
Okay, number 7 for me is a game I would like to play more. I haven't played that much of it, but I really like it and I find it very, very interesting. And that is Go. And specifically, I got into this one because of, I think I guess it was the documentary. It was AlphaGo, when they were talking about this, like the predecessor to AlphaZero, that
Right.
like was like by far like the best engine in Go, and could finally. So it was like the first engine, I think, that can actually like compete with like a world champion level player, as far as I understand. I'm probably way off.
It made an insane jump, Kostya, basically from like the previous best engine would have been like basically amateur level. And then it was like the best in the world. So like in chess terms, like imagine it went from like the best program was like 1900 and then it was 2850.
Yeah, that's insane.
You like in one generation, like what, like with alpha in chess, right? Like they went from like whatever 3000 to 3100 or something at the time, right? Like it was not the same, like it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, it felt significant. It felt like just a new way of doing chess engines. But yeah, nothing like this Go engine. So that was cool. I still don't really understand how to play the game, at all. Like I think I know maybe the mechanics, and that's that's shaky. But no, it looks super fun, and it feels quite complicated. I just wish there's like different kinds of pieces. That's my only issue with that. I would just wish there's like knights and bishops and like stuff. But
so basically, chess.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Well, that's the racist joke about Go, dude, is that all the pieces look the same.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that. Oh no. Oh man.
I would say I don't have any experience with Go. We live in the GM house. David really wanted me to get into it. I'm sure that's up in his list. So I'm sure it's a great game. But I just like for a game that requires like a lot of investment to get something out of it. Chess is already enough for me. I was just a decision I made. But especially like me and David went to China for a tournament, a beautiful tournament in Beijing 2008, and it was amazing. Like Go on TV 24/7. You saw it on the streets. You definitely saw it there at the tournament because it was like Go and other games were being played there. And so in terms of like I wouldn't even necessarily call it a worldwide culture, but like an Asian-wide culture of a game, amazing. And especially in 2008, before the chess boom, it was like an aspirational thing to see so much interest in a game when we were there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess, Jesse, that like of all games out there, I mean, it's very well known in the chess community that chess has the most books written about it. But I would guess that Go has to be in the top 3 or 4.
Sure, yeah.
Right? I mean, probably poker is way up there.
Yeah, poker, I would think.
Right, but then I would think Go could be like number 3, 4, or 5, something like that. Like it definitely has like a long, like a big culture around it, and a beautiful culture.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I remember I've never felt so insulted as when I was playing a tournament in, I think it was Italy, actually, somewhere, or maybe France, and next to the chess tournament, they were doing like a checkers tournament or something. It was like some other game. And I was like, oh, this isn't equivalent. You can't just put like board game people in one room together. Excuse me. This is like chess.
Kostya.
We have ratings, like I felt very elite. But if it was like Go next to us, I'd be fine with that. I think that'd be cool. But
yes, you would be fine with it, Kostya, the way the checkers people were fine with their tournament being next to the chess tournament. But you know what the Go people would be thinking of you?
Yeah,
they'd be like insulted. What's this guy, about 29, about 2400 doing in the same building as us?
Yeah, it's just how I see it. I'm very sorry, folks. Really, I truly apologize. Jesse, number 6.
6. I got into this. I feel like this was in my head, it's a meme game because it got popular all at the same time. It's still pretty popular. I think it's definitely inferior to chess. But anyways, Texas Hold'em. We had a lot of people in the chess world get turned on to it. I would say mid 2000s. Friend of the dojo, Jason Stoneking, was really into it, and he was living in Santa Fe with me at the time. So we'd have these like poker parties, and so that's. I read a little bit of the books and stuff, and ultimately, like, I thought there was a couple interesting situations. We went to go play in a tournament one time at a casino. Couple interesting situations, but it could mind-numbingly dull. It could just be like mind-numbingly dull in certain circumstances. Yeah. But it was something I did, so I have a connection to it, and I did have some enjoyment out of it. So there it is, number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. That's a weak game. I'll just say right now, poker is a weak game. Texas Hold'em is a weak game. I've played it twice in some like casual tournaments that friends had. I got second in one of those tournaments, knowing absolutely nothing. It's just a complete pile of luck and trash.
Well, and I think one thing, it was this, I would say this, even now there's a mild culture war where like Jen Shahada is really promoting poker as well, and she likes to almost make an equivalence to chess. We were talking about games being jealous of one another, but like to make an equivalence of Texas Hold'em and chess, and I'm just scornful of that. I'm like, dude, that's not even close. It's not on the same level. It's kind of interesting, and in the mid 2000s, it was interesting actually as a cultural phenomenon. I felt because there were a lot of chess players who were easily better at it than the majority of the population, like Jen's brother, Greg Shahada, and they were just instantly making a lot of money. And that was kind of like interesting. It was like, oh, here's something that chess players can do just better than other people. And there were many players who just went on to be professional. And until I guess it became, they made pass some law. The other people will know this better than me, but they passed some law that made it more difficult for them to do it online, I think. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, my heart bleeds a little bit every time I see chess players posting about poker. And yes, Amanda, I'm looking at you. I feel sad.
That's funny. I want to get on this one. So, I mean, yeah, I don't love the comparisons between like games and chess, because I feel like whenever anyone says, "Oh, this game is like chess," it usually just means like, "Oh, in this game you have to think ahead." But you have to think ahead in like almost all board games. It's just that like for me, like chess is like the quintessential you have to think ahead game, and that's why all these like comparisons are made, and it's like a very popular game. So honestly, I don't really mind that all the comparisons are made with chess. That's cool. It's like, we're relevant. We're like the best strategic board game by far. No one can argue with that. But where I don't mind the comparison, I do feel like the chess culture and the poker culture is like very similar. Like when I see chess players and when I see like poker people, I feel like you kind of have like an identity in your culture. You have your tournaments. You're always thinking about like how to get better, how to improve. You're like trying to like work with other people. I feel like the community is actually very similar, and you do see a lot of like overlap. You see a lot of chess players going into poker, and a lot of poker players are like interested in chess on the side. The issue for me is always just like there's so much more money in poker. It's just never been fair. It's like, oh man, if I was like 2,400 in poker, like, oh no. But yeah, no, I don't mind it as a game. I don't think it's I don't think it's totally luck based. There's clearly people better than others. Anyway.
All right, Dave, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. This next one, I think, is the only one in here that I have a love-hate relationship with. But I'm going to put it in here because it's given me a lot of joy in my life.
Yeah.
And I've put a lot of time into it as well. Right. Magic the Gathering. Yep. Maybe I'll make the smaller. Magic the Gathering. The problem is it has some real problems. It could be easily improved. Like my game is much better than Magic the Gathering, and I made it with like 3 friends in a year, and our game was better. So it's easy to improve on. but it did spawn. Magic the Gathering did sort of spawn one of my very favorite genres of games. So you've got to give it a lot of credit. Like when you make, it's easy to make a better game than it, but then you're standing on its shoulders, right? It's like if you played a game that was better than a game played by Greco, right? And you're like, oh, look, I played a game that's even better than Greco's games. But, you've studied his games. So.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you guys talk about, it's interesting to think about scorn and jealousy or whatever, but when I got to the GM house and it was Bruce, and he had a couple friends, and then Arun Sharma, who's an IM, was, I think, like almost professional at Magic the Gathering. So all of a sudden there was a bunch of people playing Magic the Gathering, and I'll just admit this, and I was like, what is this stupid game you guys are playing? And so that was my first taste of like, oh, there's people that take this game very seriously. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Peter's Fiddler has also gotten into this game too, right? So there's a number of chess players who've gone dark on this Magic the Gathering game.
Interesting. Yeah, I never tried it. I never got into any any card games really. I never liked the collectible aspect. Like I did have a lot of Pokemon cards as a kid, but I never play the game. I just like collecting them.
Yeah. For all I know, Pokemon might be as good as Magic the Gathering. I haven't played Pokemon very much, but
I don't think it's great.
It's not too great. Okay.
I mean, no, I'm sure it's actually, I haven't even seen Pokemon in a while, so they've probably changed it up. But now it's like a very big esport, similar to chess.
Wait, Pokemon is a big esport?
Yeah.
Wow, fascinating. Cool. That's good to know. Thanks, Kostya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think there's a bunch of streamers and stuff. Yeah, I believe it's very popular.
So far, I haven't played any of David games, but a little bit of Boggle. I don't know any of these Kostya's games. I don't really know either. All right, Kostya, what do you got, buddy?
Okay, my number 6. Yeah, we're gonna have to speed it along here. Stratego.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people know this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's classic. I haven't played in years. But yeah, I always liked it.
Yeah. Fun game.
That's a game I wouldn't mind learning. All right, Dave, what do you got, buddy?
All right, Legends of Runeterra is the best version of Magic the Gathering that I've been able to play consistently. So I'm going to put that one in there as well.
Here, I'll make a little bit
Anybody
more
who
space.
hates Magic the Gathering, I recommend you try Legends of Runeterra. You can get all the cards for free instead of spending like thousands of dollars opening packs full of bad cards, hoping to find one good card. Also, you get 1 mana every turn instead of sitting there like with a bunch of cards you can't play in every turn being like, come on, a mana, no, come on, a mana, no, then resigning without playing a move. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right, I'll go next. Now, the next 5 are all games that I would say right now I want to play more of. And the next one is definitely Dominoes. Now, Dominoes, you got to say Dominoes is, I think in the United States, it's seen as like a kid's game. But where you need to appreciate Dominoes is when you hang out with the Cubans and you experience their toxic masculine culture around Dominoes, it is fantastic. And when I think about games, one of the things I love about chess, like street chess, is the trash talking, and Dominoes brings it out, man. Brings it out with the trash talking, and it gets vicious, and people get, oh man, it gets really heated, man, when you get a good Dominoes game in. So, and I don't have anyone around me now to play Dominoes, but I would definitely play some Dominoes with some Cuban dudes at each other, man. So anyways, there it is, number 5.
Cool. It's not for kids. It's Dominoes. All right, my number 5 pick is I like Dominoes. I like it. Monopoly.
Oh man, that's a dumb game. We should get a veto power on that.
You don't get a veto power. You can just tell him that he's dumb. That's as far as you can go. Dude.
Just buy. It's like this decision is always the same. You buy the property, boss.
Look, it's fun. It was always my favorite game as a kid. I haven't played it in years. I probably wouldn't want to play it now. I mean, it takes forever. That's the issue with Monopoly. It takes forever at the end. And then it just gets boring when someone kind of wins. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was great. You collect money. You got like cards. There's some chance involved. I mean, yeah, as a kid, I loved the game. Loved the game. So
Yeah, I also loved it as a kid, but that was long ago. That was before I read Karl Marx.
Everybody should know about Monopoly, right? It was a game designed by communists to show how dumb and fixed capitalism was.
that's fine.
It wasn't even meant to be a good game. It was just meant to be a propaganda piece.
That's funny. No, I never played the game thinking like, oh, this is what makes capitalism so great. It's just kind of a fun board game.
All right, here we go. This is my number 4. I definitely play more of this. Me and Jason Stone King, friend of the dojo, he was the one who kind of pushed me into this, and that's backgammon. And backgammon has a lot of depth to it at points. Of course, it's a dice game, so it's almost like chess with the dice factor in it. There's definitely some interesting decisions to be made to statistics. But one of the things I love about backgammon is if you go to the Mediterranean, Greece especially. I went to Greece and I have some distant relatives there, and the toxic masculine culture around backgammon is fantastic. It's fantastic, dude. With
All right.
You've been talking smack.
So basically, I could get you to love any game if I say some like horrible things while I play it.
But it's got to be a culture of horrible. There has to be accepted, norms of terrible behavior, and one of the things about all games, right? Games have made it is they are part of an established tradition within a culture that, that like people understand why it's a cool game inside the culture. And so like dominoes, backgammon, Texas Hold'em and spots, all those Scrabble too, all those games have cultures behind them. But especially dominoes and backgammon have national cultures behind them that I've just enjoyed being a part of.
Yeah, that's fair. Guys want me to give my number 4?
Sure, boss. Let's go.
Okay, number 4. It's a card game. It's very fun. It's called Coup, like COUP, and it's great. It's great for groups. Essentially, you have a role. You're like a duke, or you can be a captain, and these different roles give you different like advantages. You can steal some money from someone else, or like collect like some extra taxes, and basically no one can see anyone else's cards. So it's a little bit like that card game BS. You're kind of like representing a role, and then someone can call BS, and then either you're right or they're right, and someone loses a life. So super fun. I'd recommend people check it out if they never tried it. Let me put it in.
You made me wonder how high backgammon was rated on Board Game Geek. So I looked it up. And backgammon is rated just below Coup.
Interesting. Okay.
It doesn't have that bad a rating.
Just below. That's funny.
Board Game Geek. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Backgammon's cool. I think Mama Diarra's into backgammon, if I remember correctly. I feel like he mentioned it. Yeah. He really liked it. Anyway,
Jesse's list is really like party in the park games, right?
Yeah, Jesse,
like,
you're a gambler.
Yeah.
Like gambling.
Did you know you had a problem?
All right, David, what do you got, buddy?
I have a beautiful game for you guys right here. Way better than anything that's been mentioned so far. Spirit Island.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, it's a cooperative game. You play as a team, which is beautiful. Actually, I really like cooperative games in general. I think they're much better for playing with, like a party kind of situation. Better for playing with kids as well. If you want to train them up to be cooperative people. And in Spirit Island, you are working to repel wannabe imperialist colonizers on your island.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible, dude. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, that sounds like propaganda.
Yeah.
Look, it is. You like imagine the joy of just stamping them off the face of your island. Oh man.
I can get that. Isn't Pandemic also cooperative? If you guys
Yes,
play
it
it,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I only
there
played
you're
it
trying
once,
to
but
stamp out a virus.
that
You've
was
got different
that was
roles.
fun.
You work together. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah. It's not on my list, but
Yeah.
anyway. Okay,
This
I'll give you
one's
guys
great.
my number 3.
Yeah, give it to us, buddy.
It's one we have seen already. Number 3, I got Risk.
All right, all
Risk,
right, all
super
right.
fun. I remember playing as a kid. I had that issue I mentioned, like I don't like how it takes forever at the end, but other than that, I think it's just like it's a lot of fun, especially in person. I think, when you play as a group, it can be great.
Damn it. I couldn't believe Jesse put it at 7 and you put it at 3.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be the top game from the dojo is going to be Risk.
No, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, my next game is
There's like more luck in it than in poker or
D,
something.
motherfucker. No, I didn't say it. D&D. As a game I really was into as a kid.
Oh, does that count? I didn't know we could.
Why
we could
doesn't it
pick
count?
this. I don't know. I didn't think of it. No one mentioned it on Twitter.
I'll allow it.
Shoot.
Yeah,
You can
D&D, I was
rearrange
gonna-
things if you want, Kostya.
All right,
If
all right.
you're
still
also a
rearrange.
dungeon master.
Think about it.
I will say this: I haven't had. As a kid, it was really something I wanted to do, and I just lacked the people around me to do it. And I like had all these modules and stuff, and I was designing my own little caves and lairs and this, that, and the other thing. And I only got to play it a couple times, but it was such an emotional connection to that game when I don't know, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I would still be into it. Yeah. So there it is, number 3.
Yeah, D&D is great. Yeah, good choice.
All right, David, what do you got, buddy?
Oh, it's on me. Okay. Here's another good game. This one's a bit old, and the people who like board games in chat will probably consider me uncultured for putting this one down. It's in some ways aesthetically, it's the opposite of Spirit Island because you're kind of like a colonizer, like working slaves.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So the skin on the game is pretty bad, but this.
Oh, wait, you need to say the game for the podcast.
Okay, but this game, Puerto Rico, is one of my very, very, very favorite styles of games, which is basically like an economy game, right? Like you're running an economy, and there are other good ones that are more recent that I've just played less. Like for example, Agricola is one that I really liked. There's a whole bunch. These are like, maybe one of my very, very favorite types of games. But I'll put Puerto Rico because it's the one I've played the most from this entire genre, and I think it's really fun despite the gross skin on it.
Okay.
But okay, Stamen's not giving me too much crap. He's saying that this was sort of revolutionary when it came out. So it's kind of like it spawned it the way Magic the Gathering spawned this other genre.
All right, I'll lead us into round 2, my friends. Here we go. These games better get better. David, so your games better get better. This game I've gone deep on. I'm probably going to play more of it. I like the number 1 a little bit better. I don't know. This game might even be number 1. But this one, I've had a hard time finding a way to play it online, which I think would be more fun than setting it up for real. And that is Axis and Allies. What a great game. What a great game, man.
I'm just praying that you guys aren't going to have dice in your last 2 rounds.
Axis and Allies. Oh, and the dice, it's interesting. I'm really, one of the things I love about chess is there's no dice. But for a game, especially a game I kind of want to, like when I'm doing chess, I want a game to relax a little bit. And the dice allow you, since you can't do as much calculation once you have dice involved, you just might as well relax a little bit with it. You're still thinking strategically, but you can't do really deep thinking whenever dice is involved. But Axis and Allies, what a great game. I think a lot of people out there won't even know about it, but I encourage you. What a beauty. Yeah.
Cool. I never played it. A lot of people are mentioning it on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
All right. My second favorite game is shogi. It's Japanese chess, and it's kind of crazy house rules, right? Every piece you capture, you can put down on your side later. Yeah, just a great game. Almost as good as chess.
Yeah, very popular.
Very, very close.
I think Peter Heine is into shogi, so some chess folks as well. Okay. For me, my number 2 is gonna be Codenames. I don't know if you guys played. It's a newer game.
Yeah.
It's super fun. Didn't we play on stream? Did we play
No.
Code Games, David?
I've played it with you. Yeah.
We played it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, super fun. People know Codenames. Great game.
Yeah.
I think it has some recency bias because I've played it more recently than most of these other games. But yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fun. My
Lots of
friends
fun.
and I, we did this thing where we made like a new version where we combined code names with like Secret Hitler. So there was like a mole that's trying to get people to guess the wrong thing, and it was super fun. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 2 pick.
I mean, it's definitely not like a highbrow choice for the top 2 or 3 games, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about the game, but I do want to say something slightly bad about Kostya. I mean, like, it's a great game. It's a great game, but I mean, it shouldn't be in like the discussion for what's like the most fun or the best game of all.
Like, if you ask me, like, hey, what would you play on this list right now? Codenames is like number 1.
Well, yeah, the other choices you're giving yourself are like Monopoly and Stratego. So
any of the choices, any of these choices.
All right.
I know what David's number 1 pick is, at least.
Yeah.
I think I know Jesse's for sure.
All right. Let's try and guess each other's number 1.
I don't know what Kostya's is.
I've got no idea either.
You guys are not gonna like it.
It's gonna be like his is gonna be like Cards Against Humanity.
Oh,
I'll
maybe.
guess. I'll guess for Kostya. Cards Against
yes.
Humanity.
Good guess.
Is that true?
That's not true. No, it's not it. But mainly because I actually never played it. Fun fact. It looks super fun. I'm sure I would love it. Never played it.
Okay. Apples to apples.
I thought about that, but to me, that's more of a social game. So I left it
Well,
off.
yes, many of these games are social games.
I was thinking more like strategy games, and yeah, apples to apples. It's fun. It's fun, but I
Okay.
don't know. Disqualified.
All right. I failed to guess Kostya's number 1. Jesse, you want to try and guess my number 1?
Your number 1 is Go, my friend. It's building up, building up to Go for this whole time.
Oh, nice.
Obviously.
Okay. Jesse's is Catan.
That's right, dude. Good
God damn it, Jesse! No.
You didn't see that? He streamed Catan on our channel. He was like addicted. This whole thing.
Oh, Catan's fantastic, dude. And I'll say, I'm an old guy, so I have to relax sometimes. If I want to go relax, it's definitely to go play. Definitely go play Catan. And now,
By
you play it
definition, the best games are not played when you need to go relax. They're played when you're ready to do some sweat work. To go all in.
Catan's great, dude. Catan is fantastic. Also, one where you're gauging other people's intentions. That's where it gets really interesting. You got to kind of get inside people's heads.
I know.
You can
I'll
always
come when
get
I can.
wrecked. And one thing, actually, I'll say about Catan, because this was mentioned before by David about risk, where you can ruin the best player. They can gang up on you. And there's kind of checks and balances in Catan. It's very evenly balanced where, yes, there's a kind of communism about it. The top player is going to get whacked. But there's a limit to how much you can do it. And then once he gets whacked a little bit, then somebody else is coming up. So it's very dynamic in the social aspect of the game. Anyways, there it is. Catan, number 1. I'll definitely stream it again, too. And I'll make him mad. I'll make him mad.
All right, we're gonna give David. Look, my number 1 game. This is the only game that I would play, like seriously, if I wasn't a chess player.
Okay.
And that is poker. I was putting it number 1. Probably Texas Hold'em for me. I was never really into any other games, but.
Well, put down.
You guys
Texas
can close the
Hold'em,
stream
man.
down. You guys can close the stream down.
David's gotta go. Stood up. He stood up. Oh man.
Well, Kostya, put it down as
I'll-
Hold'em,
I'll
or I
switch
can
it.
change mine to poker if you want to, and then because it's
Well,
basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are other poker games, but that was the one
Yeah.
that got me into it. Yeah, there's like so many like amazing poker players, and they have these very very genius plays. And no, I love it. I love it. It's great.
Okay.
Oh my god! But you idiots probably don't know how to average numbers. You're probably gonna roll dice, so I should come do this for you.
It's true though. It's true. Go average it, boss. Go average it.
I mean, this is
I do feel offended. What do I feel offended by? That my risk choice is going to make risk go kind of high.
well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like we only have like a couple of
Yeah, David has so many weird
overlaps.
games, and you and David, this weird old games, dude. Monopoly, that's a terrible game.
I'll say I'm
Terrible.
the only one. I connect more with you guys, right? Like you guys, I don't know if you even share one game. At least I picked games that you guys also picked.
Oh my god!
Poker, go, risk. 3. Oh, Scrabble as well. Scrabble is on there twice.
Yeah, he's working on it. He's getting there.
Let me make
Yeah.
a-
Oh
Said
man.
Scrabble's on here twice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Scrabble's on there twice.
It's number 8.
There it is. Okay, I see. It's not a lot of points though.
True.
Stop telling me I know.
Well, yeah. After Bruce does the math, because we can't do the math, then we're gonna have to let Bruce go. Me and Kostya are gonna finish the show with the
figure it out.
average.
We can probably.
You guys didn't put backgammon in there? Jeez, Melise. Oh man. And David's weird games, man. Holy moly.
Well, at least my games don't have actual dice, except for Monopoly and Risk. A lot of dice and Risk.
It's amazing how many dice games I've got, actually. I feel like card games are basically dice games too.
Yeah, you like dice. Dice fiend. Yeah, this was supposed to be like the like the friendly, relaxing post is chess.com evil podcast. Like the
Yeah, no, these things are always hot. It's hot. And it reveals a lot. It's a very interesting thing about chess players. Like, yeah, what kind of game? What other games are they into? It does say a lot in some ways. Like David has clearly lost his mind. Look at that, Spirit Island, and he imported. He's doing crazy.
It's just guys, don't post this one on the Spotify app. It's just too embarrassing. Like if anybody hears this, they're gonna be like, I'm not gonna go get chess lessons from like some people who think that poker and backgammon are good games.
All right, Kostya, get the screenshot of that thing, and then I'll read it off. Okay, so this is what we got.
We got it. It's a top 10.
Take
Top
care,
10,
everybody. Love you all.
All right, bye, David.
See you, David.
So, all right, here we go. I'm going to read it off for those of you that are just listening. So, number 10 is Spirit Island. I've never played that game. Number 9, Puerto Rico. I never played that game. Number 8 is D&D. Great game. 7, Codenames, which I guess I'm going to have to check out. I guess. Axis and Allies. Number 6. Great. Shogi. By the way, though, we have very little overlap here. These are just our top games.
Yeah, real
Shogi
small.
number 5. I could imagine trying that, but I feel like that's a game like Go or chess where you need some investment if you're really going to be serious about it. Catan number 4. Then we got Risk. I don't know. I kind of regret putting Risk in there because there's no way Risk should be number 3 for us. 2, we got Go. Number 1, we got Poker. And now I
Yeah.
have regrets of putting Poker
Actually,
in there.
maybe I wanted to make a Jadoob. I wanted to add D&D to mine.
Oh, okay.
I was actually going to put it in. I was going to put it in the number like 2 or 3 spot.
Coconut Island.
Let me put it. I'll put it number 3 spot actually. Yeah. So I'm booting Scrabble. I'm really sorry, Scrabble, but honorary mention Scrabble. But yeah, for me, I forgot about D&D, and then I didn't know if it was gonna count. That's gonna change the rankings a lot, actually. But
Yeah.
yeah, this game was always so much fun. Wait. Anyways, where's that? We can do this. We can do this. So 3 and 3. It's 10, 9, 8. So 16. Oh, that would put D&D at 16.
16. Oh, wow.
And then Risk would be down a bit. Risk, you'd get 7 and 4. So 11 for Risk.
There you go.
Okay, wait. So that means... That means D&D number 1, probably.
D&D goes to number 1.
I totally forgot.
All right, you guys, I'm going to read this out. D&D is now number 1. Poker number 2.
Right.
Go number 3. Risk number 4. Catan, beautiful game, number 5. Shogi number 6. Scrabble number 7. And Scrabble was one of the few ones where it was mentioned. No, Kostya
right.
knocked
So
Scrabble off the
loses.
list. Yeah, Scrabble lost a lot there.
Loses.
Yeah.
All right. It's still in that position, though, because it was... Oh, no, actually, it goes down. It goes down. It's actually off. It's off the list because it doesn't get any points for me.
Yeah, it doesn't get any points, man. So, yeah, Kostya will show a shot of this thing on the stream, and then we'll put it on the YouTube video so you can see it if you're watching on the YouTube. What's number 10 then, Kostya?
So Puerto Rico, and then number 10. Well, it's like tied with Backgammon and Spirit Island, because essentially you guys both put a number 4, and
Yeah, put Backgammon up there. We don't want people. We don't want people playing Spirit Island. That was this communist game. I don't want that.
That was a Monopoly. All right, I'm gonna put Backgammon and / Spirit Island. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, folks. Well, that was the final Dojo Talks.
That was the final Dojo Talks.
There it is. There's a top list. Well, thanks for listening. We will see you guys next time.